Has Star Trek revealed what happens to old Starfleet uniforms? Starfleet uniforms have always been more than just fabric. They're symbols of duty, unity, and the spirit of exploration. From the bright colors of the original series to the sleek and practical designs of Star Trek Discovery, these iconic outfits have evolved across centuries and series. But one question has quietly followed each redesign. What happens to the old uniforms when Starfleet updates its style? At long last, Star Trek has finally revealed the answer, and it's both surprisingly practical and deeply poetic. In Star Trek Lower Decks, known for its deep-cut references and hilarious nods to canon, a throwaway line in Season 4 finally addressed the fate of Starfleet's outdated attire. According to Ensign Boimler, most old uniforms are recycled and repurposed, either transformed into new fabric through advanced replicator reclamation processes or donated to historical archives and museums. But in true Starfleet fashion, there's more to it than just environmental efficiency. Some uniforms find second lives in ways that honor their legacy. Uniforms don't just fade away. In Star Trek Picard, Season 3 included a visual treasure trove of Starfleet memorabilia tucked away in the Fleet Museum, curated by Commodore Geordie Law Forge. Among ships like the Enterprise A and the Defiant, eagle-eyed fans noticed vintage uniforms displayed under protective glass, each one preserved with care. These displays weren't just about nostalgia. They reflected Starfleet's commitment to remembering its past while looking to the future. Some of these preserved uniforms belong to heroes of the Dominion War, the Boer conflict, and even early 23rd century pioneers. But what about the thousands of standard-issue uniforms worn by officers who weren't legendary captains or admirals? That's where Starfleet's blend of idealism and innovation shines. Recycling the Starfleet way. In universe, Starfleet relies heavily on replicator technology, which breaks down matter into energy and restructures it into new forms. That includes uniforms. Once an officer receives an updated design, their old uniform can be placed into a matter reclamation unit, essentially a high-tech recycling bin. The uniform's fabric, dye, and even embedded comm badges are dematerialized and converted back into raw replicator matter. That matter is then used to create new clothing, equipment, or even meals. This practice aligns with Starfleet's post-scarcity philosophy. Waste is minimized, and resources are endlessly renewable. This also explains why uniforms vanish without much fanfare between series. It's not just a matter of aesthetics. Starfleet makes an intentional effort to update functionality, materials, and symbolism. And once they're retired, the old styles aren't gathering dust in a storage room. They're feeding the future, historical significance, and collector's items. Yet, not every uniform is recycled. Some are stored in the Starfleet archives or displayed in Federation museums. These preserved examples often include those worn during major historical events or by decorated officers. In Star Trek Voyager, Captain Janeway's uniform appeared in a holographic display after her return from the Delta Quadrant, commemorating her unprecedented journey. Likewise, Star Trek Prodigy showed uniforms being studied by young cadets, highlighting how Starfleet treats its history as a living classroom. There's also a delightful bit of fan canon, supported by background lore, that certain uniforms become prized collector's items. Just as civilians in the 21st century collect military jackets or sports jerseys, Federation citizens seek out vintage Starfleet uniforms. A historian on Earth might proudly display a 2250s red tunic, while an alien culture fascinated by Starfleet might preserve old uniforms as cultural artifacts of interstellar cooperation. A legacy in every stitch. Symbolically, the life cycle of a uniform mirrors the journey of a Starfleet officer. It starts fresh, untested, but with a clear mission. Over time, it sees trials, carries scars, and eventually steps aside to make way for progress. And just as officers pass on wisdom to the next generation, the materials from old uniforms are literally woven into the fabric of new missions. It's a quiet but powerful reminder that in the Federation, nothing is ever truly discarded, only transformed. This philosophy has real-world parallels too. The costuming departments behind each Star Trek series often recycle and repurpose old costumes for background extras or new roles. Many Next Generation era uniforms were refitted and reused for Deep Space Nine, and bits of wardrobe popped up in Enterprise,